Hello, welcome back to hashtag 20 off-centered years. Today, another symbol, we're going to talk about extreme brewing. And it's kind of a polarizing term. Some people are like, oh, you know, we shouldn't talk about extreme beer, just flavorful beer. Whatever the term folks use, you know, all craft beer is extreme in the context of the light lager juggernaut that's dominated this country's beer landscape for many, many decades. For Dogfish, we were among the first to talk about extreme brewing, and the Wall Street Journal did a story on Dogfish Head and Sam Adams that I think is the earliest mainstream publication that called this niche within the craft brewing niche extreme brewing. How I would define it is brewing outside of stylistic guidelines and brewing using ingredients that are meant to enhance and intensify flavor instead of ingredients that are meant to neuter and water down flavor. For example, you know, light lager, it's mostly barley, by law it has to be, but they use a lot of rice and corn because they contribute less flavor and they want to make their beverages as inoffensive as possible to as many people as possible. Whereas extreme brewing by its nature is designed to offend people. And by that I mean all of us, our palates are different, and that's why there should be tons and tons of different beers. So we know at Dogfish Head when we make 30 or 40 different beers and distribute them in a year, we hope that some of those beers piss you off and offend you, and they're so out of alignment with your personal palate. Because our other hope is that there'll be an equal or greater number of beers in our portfolio that excite you. And you're like, wow, that's exactly what my palate's all about. Give me more of that. So we understand that a brewery like ours that isn't going to be brewing towards the mainstream is going to offend people. And we're really proud to have been offensive for 20 years. The excitement for me has been watching this concept of extreme brewing move from something that was kind of made fun of or considered a fad into something that seems really sustainable within our industry, as so many craft brewers are coloring outside of the traditional beer style lines. And looking at moments in our 20-year history where we saw extreme brewing getting traction, like I got to do a book almost 10 years ago with my buddies Vinny from Russian River, Rob Todd from Allagash, Adam Avery from Avery Brewery, and Tommy from Pizza Port, where we all went to Belgium and sort of referenced the awesome, adventurous, creative brewing spirit there and how it influenced sort of the extreme brewing or exotic brewing ingredient in America. That book, like I said, was about 10 years old. We might do another trip to Belgium together next year. We had a wonderful sour beer came out of that we did together called Isabel Proximus. I'd love to maybe revisit that recipe with those guys next year for the 10th anniversary. Or look at the Extreme Beer Festival itself, the EBF in Boston, that's been put on by our wonderful friends, the Alstrom brothers at Beer Advocate, for over a decade. Dogfish has been the lead sponsor of that for as long as we can remember. And I remember the early days of wondering if enough people were going to show up to make that feel like a meaningful event. And you flash forward to now, EBF, you know, thousands and thousands of tickets sell out in advance. It's moved from a small location in downtown Boston to the waterfront, so it can be in a big convention center. And you go in there and breweries from around the country are just going for it and redefining what beer is, and in that way creating a new future for what beer can be. And I'm really, really proud of Dogfish's role in that extreme beer movement since the day we opened our doors as the smallest commercial brewery in America in 1995. Cheers.